Now, one of the problems is that sometimes people just don't believe that they will face that war. This is especially so when it comes to spiritual battles, where they have lived a life full of sins against HaShem. They weren't observant, they weren't keeping, they weren't doing anything. Perhaps they were an idol worshiper in Christianity, Catholicism, and the likes. Perhaps they had all types of immorality on their day-to-day life, homosexuality and promiscuity, adultery and the like. They lived a life of sin. And now they have changed. And they figure, listen, now that I've changed, I've put a kippah on, I'm more modest, I'm more this, I'm more that, that's it. Everyone's simply going to know that I picked a different way. And they're going to respect me for it. Wrong. Absolutely wrong. In fact, more wrong than you can possibly imagine. All of those people that you had in your life that couldn't care less if you married a cow or you married an elephant from the zoo. All of a sudden they care about the fact that you want to marry a religious woman or a religious man. All of a sudden they care about the fact that you're moving to a religious neighborhood. All those people that didn't care anything about your religiosity, suddenly they start caring. And they start calling, and they start hounding you, and they start making you putting questions into your mind. Why? These are the tools of the Satan. He's constantly going to send you different things that are either going to make or break you. And if a person trains themselves that if this person calls, this is what I'll say. If somebody that says this to me, this is what I'll do. If you train yourself for these things, then you'll have the tools to overcome them. And one of the things that you're not going to have is the anxiety that people have when they get surprised. You may have anxiety in the beginning of all the possibilities that can happen, but that eventually goes away as you train yourself. But the anxiety that people have when people attack them, when people surprise them, doesn't exist anymore. Why? Nothing surprises you. Why doesn't anything surprise you? Because you've already trained for it mentally. You've already trained for it mentally that if somebody says such and such to me, I either have this response or that response. This response that I know the response to what they're saying, or that response that, listen, I don't know the answer, but I'll get back to you, and it's okay not to know. It doesn't mean that I have to continue this conversation of, if I don't know, that means that I don't know enough, and all types of other mumbo jumbo that people put into your head, that just because you don't know everything, perhaps you shouldn't do anything. This is unfortunately one of the tools that the Satan tries to play on people, where they tell you, listen, how do you know you're making the right decision with this marriage? How do you know you're making the right decision with becoming more religious? How do you know you're making the right decision with converting or with doing tshuva? How do you know you're doing it? You don't know everything. The truth is, nobody knows everything about anything that they do. But that they're not going to tell you. But even more significant is the fact that when it comes to following Hashem, you always have to remind yourself, no one has ever lost by following God. No one. Now, I don't mean the God that people create up in their mind in their false religions. I mean the God of Israel. I mean Judaism. No one has ever lost by following it. Now, that doesn't mean that as soon as everybody or anybody does tshuva and abandons their false belief, they automatically win millions of dollars and they find their love of their life and they don't have any hardships. No, certainly everybody has hardships, everybody has difficulties, but the key is that in the long run, you will see that your life ended up being 1,000,000 times better than everybody else around you that didn't do it. Now, this may take time to be apparent, but it's a fact. Now, a person that's going to wait to have all the knowledge before they act is not only not going to ever attain that knowledge, but even if they were to attain a lot of knowledge, they still would not have the conviction. Because part of the things that, the biggest thing that makes the Torah different than any other physical aspiration that a person has, whether it's attaining a certain physique or a monetary, a bank account or a career or anything else, is that the greatest part of the Torah is that it's not just the knowledge that you attain or the different ceremonies that you become a part of, but rather the feeling that you get that is with you at all times. The more Torah you have, the more apparent that feeling is, the stronger it is. Where the world around you seems like it's like a distant from you. You're a part of it, but you're removed from it. Everyone can be screaming fire that they're worried about something, and you're just walking around and going about your life. Why? Because you know there's a God above that runs it all and everything's under control. Different things can be happening. Nice things, not so nice things. But you know that everything's okay, even if you don't understand. The people around you may be full of anxiety and worry, and they're not really sure of how it's going to end and what's going to be and who, what, when, and how. And you just go about your business and learn your books, connect to HaShem, pray for salvation, pray for Him to help you, and that's it. This constant agita that people have simply doesn't exist for you. The more knowledge you have about Torah that you're applying to your life, the greater that's going to be in your life. And the less the outside world will have an impact on you, especially conflicting beliefs. People that have opposite beliefs of you. If your beliefs in Hashem and your knowledge of Hashem is strong, nothing can move you. Even if somebody brings you Yoshke, brings you Jesus from Gehenom, and shows it in front of you, it won't do anything for you. It won't affect you in any way. Somebody can give you some really, cleverly worded essay that disproves such and such. Doesn't do anything for you. Won't move you. But if you're weak, or better said, not strong enough, even a strong little wind of heresy can move your opinion. Oh, I have doubts, Rabbi. I don't know. What do you mean? You've been religious for 3 years already. What do you mean you have doubts? Doubts of what? I don't know. This guy, he just wrote this book, and he just made this video, and he said that, God said, let us make man, like us, and what does it mean? Like, maybe there's more than one. Wait, so you're telling me that one sentence that you heard on some YouTube channel, or some book, or some event that you shouldn't have attended in the first place, that one sentence took 3 years worth of Torah learning into the garbage? That's it? That's all it took? Something's wrong here. Did you really study Torah for the last 3 years? Or are you just like, a passerby? Like you once in a while. Because it's not possible for that to happen if you really study that much. And that's the truth. The more you learn Torah and you connect to Hashem and develop your character traits, both on a spiritual level and a physical level, the stronger your belief system is going to be and the more immovable it's going to be. Where many times you're simply going to look at people that have the opposite ideology as just, either crazy and you feel bad for them, or you just, nothing you can do. It's like a hopeless situation. It's certainly never going to change your mind. Like many times people say, yeah, but what about the fact that this such and such and all of those people and all of those, they don't like what you say? So, well, I made it up. Did I create this? I'm reading from the books. The sages that toiled for years and years. They said it. I'm reminding you of it. That's all I'm doing. I'm not creating anything out of my head. This is simply what the sages said. I'm just reciting it. Call me a parrot. Call me a donkey. Call me whatever you want. The reality is I'm reading the book for you. That's all I'm doing. Now, if you have a problem with me, fine. You can like me, dislike me. I don't really care. But if you have a problem with the sages, that means you have a problem with God. Because all they did is recite what the sages from before did, and what the sages from before did, and what the sages from before did, all the way to Moshe Rabbeinu. So, by you disagreeing or simply criticizing or making fun, you're not doing yourself a service. You're not disagreeing with me. You're disagreeing with God. And that's in essence what Moshe Rabbeinu said to Am Yisrael when they were complaining against him. And he says, you're complaining against me, and you think it's just me, but I'm nothing. Your complaints are against God. So the stronger a person has their belief system in Hashem, in His Torah, the more immovable they become. It doesn't matter what everybody else does. You could be surrounded by a bunch of heretics. It won't make a difference. Let me know what you think, and make sure to share it, because other people need to learn too.